Hi, my name is Kelly Street and I'm a first grade teacher here at R.M. Moore Elementary. Today we're going to read One Dark Night by Lisa Wheeler, illustrated by Ivan Bates. Oops. In a wee little house, in a wee little hole, lived a wee little mouse and a wee little mole. They munched tiny crackers and they served tiny teas filled with wee tiny snackers with wee tiny cheese. Meanwhile, in a big giant lair near a big giant glen lived a big giant bear in his big giant den. He growled beastie growls, he stomped beastie feet, he stuffed beastie jowls with a big beastie treat. Then one dark night, the two teensy friends left their wee tiny house. "I'm scared of the dark," the mole whispered to the mouse. "There's no need to fear," Mouse said with a sigh. Then the moon disappeared behind the clouds in the sky. Meanwhile, in the big giant lair near the big giant glen, the big giant bear stomped around in his big giant den. He peered out the door, he tramped and he paced. He craved something fresh with a rich, meaty taste. Meanwhile, with a squish, squash, and a squash, and a tromp, trip, and a tromp, Mouse and Mole trudged through the mushy, mucky swamp. Under the sharp thistle thorns, into that marshy, misty woods, to the big giant glen where a gnarled oak stood. Meanwhile, the bear licked his chomps. He heard his big tummy groan. "I'm hungry," he roared, but he waited, alone. "We're lost," shouted Mole. "Don't fret," the mouse said. "I'll climb up this tree and I spy what's ahead." From the tree trunk to the branch, Mouse pushed to the top. Fragile twigs started to snap, but Mouse didn't stop. "What do you see?" the teensy mole cried. "It looks like a cave with a light on inside." From deep in that cave came a big giant growl. "I want something to eat and I want it now." Bear threw open the door, stomped out of the den, bared big sharp white teeth, and charged into that glen. Mouse perked his ears. He heard the snarl, snuff-a-snuff. Something is coming, and that something sounds tough. Mole shivered, Mouse shook, their fur stirred up straight. The something was the bear, who grumbled, "You're late." Looks like they're friends. Then they skipped hand in hand from the glen to the lair for a big giant feast. With their best friend, the big bear.